Hey, Don P. Hey, C.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jonesy. Are we live?
We are.
Is this thing on? Manny, what time? At 12:44 p.m. He said T minus 6 hours and 16 minutes. Manny, I freaking love you. I adore you. You are an intense human being, and I'm very excited for more baseball fire tonight on your Twitter space tonight. The Patrick Pucci Fantasy Show. Twitter space, baseball talk. Manny knows his shit. Shout out to Manny. 9 p.m. on Twitter. He's good people. And then Nonsense says, Manny, you won't. Manny did. He did. And he will. And he will continue. All right. You guys know the drill. You guys know the deal. We're going to go over the entire slate. We're going to talk every single football game. We're going to talk some DFS. We're going to talk who we like, who we don't like, who's a good pay up option in DFS, who's a good tertiary option in DFS. Tertiary in translation is, just a guy who's just a guy, a jag.
A jag.
Like Jerry Jeudy. Speaking of Jerry Jeudy, let's talk about last night's game. Don P, any takeaways, sir? We'll start with you because you are my guy and I adore you. And you guys are all my guys, but like Don P, you're the king.
I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy.
You're not a jag. You're the goat. Nah.
No, it was just a boring game. Bryce was my only good play there, but I didn't play him because I'm gonna wait it out a little bit.
You were spot on with that, brother.
One that was my only call, but it was a shitty game. Game.
You were spot on with your Rasheed Rice there, JC. You always have these fire picks that hit on a weekly basis, and every time I'm like, I need to listen to Don P. Don P, what's your advice? And you know what? You told me sit P Ryan and go with Foreman. And what did I do? I sat P Ryan and he put up a Dudski. So shout out to Don P. Us fantasy pros, we got to go to our fellow fantasy pros for advice. And Don P is one of those guys I go to for sure. JC, another one of those guys I go to. How was the game for you last night? Any takeaways?
A disaster. I'm surprised that Pacheco did not get in the end zone. I can't stand the fact that Cortland Sutton scored on that play, although it was a nice touchdown catch. But I can't stand how they can't get the ball to Judy. Our guy Jaleel McLaughlin, all right, he looks good. But Javonte Williams looked good.
He did.
But the Broncos are just god awful. So that's my takeaway. Other than you want to go to the KC side of the ball, yeah. Rasheed Rice looks like the guy. He does, but again, Kadarius Toney scored the freaking touchdown.
Yep.
So that's that. Kelsey's Kelsey, even on a bad leg.
Yeah. You know who else is on a bad leg and he's powering through it right now and just being the ultimate trooper? Our man, Best Ball Jonesy. He's going through it, man. Shout out to you. Kudos to you, you freaking trooper. You're powering through this injury like Joe Burrow was powering through that injury, but we're not going to give you slack.
My sniffles are a little less than his cap, I think.
Didn't we took him off the IR last night, and now it's teetering on whether or not he's going back on. Please don't go back on.
I'm just gonna send him like a bottle of Cold Effects and hand sanitizer. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hey, dude, I use hand sanitizer all day long.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you're using too much. How was the game for you last night? Thank you for joining us and thank you for powering through, brother.
Luckily I didn't watch it. Because I have to go to bed too early.
Same here.
Just looking at the stats and everything. I mean, Pacheco. He should have been able to get in the end zone. You'd think. But my thing was more just the Denver side of the ball and the rushing game. How were they going to split those carries? And, I figured there'd be some kind of split, but I didn't know exactly how it would be. So it's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks with P. Ryan. He hasn't necessarily he's been playing a lot of half of the snaps all year, but now with Jaleel, I don't know how that's going to play out. So it could be a very messy. It could be a Baltimore Ravens backfield situation.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there, and I agree with you.
And I hate it because I love Javonte. I have him everywhere, and it is what it is.
P. Ryan is going to be the odd man out as we continue to move forward. That's the way it looked last night.
He is the handcuff for both of them now at this point. He is the handcuff. and it was a backfield and an offense that I was relatively excited about. Again, 2 years in a row now, relatively excited about again. And the guys who I invested in, the Judys, the Pirines, they are busting all over the place. They're just guys. They're just a guy. Shout out to Uncle Mercy. Shout out to Ron. We see you, Ron. Ron actually made money in his first owner's box DFS slate last night. Congratulations to you, Ron. That's a huge feat, huge accomplishment, brother. And you know what? All credit goes to you because you're absolutely spectacular and you're a brilliant football mind and just a brilliant man in general. Shout out to Uncle Mercy overseas, my man. He says whiskey helps Jonesy. Godwin's
I was going to say the same thing.
Everything.
I was going to
say my dad used to do.
Why don't we just send them a bottle?
There you go.
You know what helps me?
Oh,
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Whoa.
So,
not the cream soda.
We're gonna crack her open.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
We're
can look so small in your hands.
I think next week I'm going to join you.
It's a normal size can. For sure.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He bought them tiny ones just to make his hands look big.
Yeah, that's it.
Got the little
I secretly got baby hands. Uncle Mercy says under 3 weeks and counting, everyone, until I'm back in the States. We can't wait. We're praying on it, brother. We love you. Stay safe.
I got beers cold for you, Mercy.
Yeah, he's got the beers. I got the cheers, brother. All right, fellas, you know the drill. All right, we're gonna start off in London, England, with the Baltimore Ravens, who are 4-point favorites, facing the Tennessee Titans. The Titans. I don't know. We'll start with you, Jonesy. Who do you like in this game, and who are you absolutely avoiding?
I like Zay Flowers.
Okay.
And he's the only Baltimore wide receiver I would trust. I mean, obviously Andrews, Lamar, you're starting them. Those are obvious ones. Tennessee side, I as a sneaky flex play for some reason all week I've been thinking Tajay Spears.
Yeah,
I think this game script's going to go where they're going to need to pass the ball. I don't think they're going to have much running room. So I think they're just going to start dumping the ball off to him all game. So if you're in a bye week situation, I think he might be a good play. Other than that, I mean, my major avoids are, as anyone knows me, Baltimore running backs. I just always avoid them.
Yeah.
Or try to at least.
Fair. So Fantasy Football Addict, he and I were looking over the projections and all that good jazz. He was mentioning that the Derrick Henry prop is around 69 or 66.5 rushing yards. You're taking the under?
I would.
Yeah, I hear you. Based off of game strip, I was thinking the same thing. But he also thinks that Hopkins will be peppered. And if you're not following Fantasy Football Addict on Twitter,
everybody's like,
this is family.
This is the prop guy. This is the prop
family
guy.
now. Family now.
He's the.
I got D-Hop, so I'm all over it too.
Yeah, you like D-Hop. All right, who else do you like in this game? And tell me, why do you like D-Hop? This is a formidable,
No, he like Don P. Tell us why D-Hop.
I just like D-Hop all the time. I don't think there's ever a time to bench him. Really, I mean, he's back to being almost what he was. He's a smaller version. He's the age caught up to him a little, but he still gets open.
No bias.
He's getting fed. No bias now.
No bias.
Fair. I mean, he's in, I think, the same boat as Jerry Jeudy, right? It's like one of those guys where you drafted them, you know that they have the potential and the upside, but it's that kind of deal where it's like we know they're going to also disappear and they're not who we thought they were, but you kind of have no choice but to run with them because they are your guys. So very good take. What about you, JC? Who are you riding with here? Who you love? Who do you hate? We don't have to necessarily talk DFS because they're not available in a DFS option.
It was the Titans that got into London late, correct? Baltimore was there for the entire week.
The Titans landed today.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No.
I'm not I don't understand the rationalization of trying to get in, taking the red eye, getting in now, right, or getting in tomorrow. I don't like that at all. I'm with Jonesy on Tajay Spears. he just continues to just take snaps.
I agree.
He continues to get the usage. Tennessee is going to have to be up in the game for King Henry to really get going and close out the game. I don't really see that happening. I see Lamar having a really, really good game. I see Zay Flowers and I see Mark Andrews. Other than that, we all know I don't like any running back. And I don't like any of the other receivers other than Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I mean, like I could say, this is a time to queue up Nelson Aguilar, but Rashad Bateman, we all took the Bateman, thought he'd be good. He's not. He's back. Odell Beckham Jr. He's back. I will say, I think Lamar is going to have a spectacular outing because he's been very accurate. He's 5th in deep ball accuracy and percentage. The only issue is his receivers are dropping the ball, but that's fixable, right? That's fixable. And I think against this secondary for the Tennessee Titans, he should eat. The receivers should eat. Andrews should eat. The one person who I don't want to play, and I regret drafting so much of him in basketball on Drafters Fantasy, is Chigoziem Okonkwo. He's a must sit from here on out until we see something out of him because he's not even one of those guys that can play in a good matchup.
Didn't he come on late last week in the fourth quarter? Had a couple of catches for maybe 40 yards. 30.
The prime coming on.
Coming alive.
He come on the field.
He came alive.
He realized he was playing football, or Ryan Tannehill realized he has a formidable tight end.
Yeah,
I hate Ryan Tannehill. I hate him with a passion.
Chig's been a huge disappointment. That's not a tight end that you're starting this week at all.
No. Let's catch up with the chat, fellas. Manny, what's up, Manny? This is our guy. This is our guy tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time with the baseball show on Twitter. You guys want to check him out. Ron says, continue to stay safe and continue prayers for a safe trip home, brother. Shout out to Uncle Mercy.
Yeah,
Hussein made it here. He said, hi, guys. What's up? Excited to watch your guys' live stream. I'm excited for the Hussein conundrum today. I can't wait for the Hussein conundrum. Oh, Uncle Mercy with the question of the day, and we'll start with you, JC. Is DeAndre Hopkins a Hall of Fame wide receiver?
Yeah, based on the amount of yards. If you look at the guys above him that already have the yellow jacket, yards, receptions, I think D-Hop would get in. Yeah.
Jonesy.
Honestly, I don't know how his career stats line up against current Hall of Famers. I don't know that. So I don't think I can really give an honest answer. If I'm just going off the top of my head, I think I kind of agree with Ron, where I think he gets in, but I don't think he's first ballot. And I mean, I think it maybe takes a couple of years. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong, and he could be, way up on the list for something, and I'm not sure.
Uncle Mercy has a tremendous setup here. Like, he asked a question knowing fully well that, like, this rebuttal right here is money. Before Antonio Brown, I think Antonio Brown, on paper, statistically, is one of the best to ever do it ever. Him, Julio, I think these names are way ahead of D-Hop. What about you, Don P?
I don't think that Antonio Brown gets in. I like him to get in, but I think his antics keep him out. These guys with the votes, they won't vote him in.
I mean, we thought the same about Terrell Owens' antics, and Terrell Owens was first ballot.
Yeah, Terrell's not quite
so. DeAndre Hopkins, who's obviously current, has I just had it. Damn it!
He needs a little more. I think.
DeAndre Hopkins has exceeded Calvin Johnson's yardage. Calvin Johnson's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Don Maynard is the next guy that he catches. Michael Irvin is in his sights. Yeah, I think DeAndre Hopkins.
How's he fair in touchdowns?
All right, let's go to touchdowns.
He's also had some really shitty quarterbacks, but he's also made some really shitty offseason moves. Nevertheless, let's keep the show moving. You look up the numbers. We'll go to the next game. We got the first game on our DFS main Sunday slate on Owner's Box DFS. Sign up using promo code DISCO. We will match your initial deposit up to $500. You got the Washington Commanders, who are 2.5-point underdogs versus the Atlanta Falcons. The over-under is 42.5. So we're going to change it up a little bit. Before we talk about the players, let's talk about the game. Who do you think is going to win straight up, Dom P?
I'm gonna go with Atlanta, but I'm gonna go under. It's gonna be a low-scoring game. I don't like that over/under at all.
No, it does seem like a trap. What about you, Jonesy? Who you like?
It's in Atlanta.
Desmond Ritter's undefeated in Atlanta, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with that just because it's in Atlanta. That's the only reason. I mean, this is gonna be a boring game, and it's gonna end up going for like 80 points or something like that because I said that. But I mean, because
two pick sixes and something, whatever.
Falcons by a little bit just because they're at home.
Great.
Jay Teague, my man, the man from Queens. Who you like here?
We're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Versus Houston.
Washington.
No, that was last week. Oh, versus Washington. The DJ Moore just torched Washington for like 200 yards, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, if give me Drake London in like 40% of that. I expect Drake London to have a solid game. Obviously, Bijan's a must start.
But who wins?
Who wins this game? Atlanta's going to win this game. I don't like Washington at all. I don't like their defense. I don't like Sam Howell. Again, you know how I feel about Washington. Atlanta will win this game out.
Some idiot named Best Ball Jonesy said Kyle Pitts game ? On our chat.
I can see
I did call it last week. I did say, we were going to see a Kyle Pitts game. I've also been calling it every fucking week, so it's about time that it actually hit. But talk to me about Kyle Pitts. Why do you like Pitts this week? Are you being facetious or are you being serious?
Yeah, no, I'm not really. I have nothing to back it up or anything. I was just kind of being, funny. And
I really do like Pitts. I think he's finally healthy. I don't think he was healthy all season, and it's just been a slow. They planned this all along, but didn't want to tell anybody.
Yeah, I would say this. I would say I don't think Pitts was the problem. I would say Ritter getting into the groove of things was the problem, and we got to see a spectacular Ritter last week. I was against a formidable team. Like Houston's no joke, and they came in and they competed. They balled out. They played solid defense. The run game ran. Bijan went behind the back with a little loop. Like it was sick. It was sick. It was good to see. This is the Atlanta Falcons that I've been talking about, and it was nice to see it happen. It's great.
I think Atlanta, it clicked. They were able to connect in the passing game. Bijan, we see, is a major part of that. I'm very, very curious. And I'm going to pay attention to this follow-up game in terms of the passing aspect, the passing offense for Atlanta, because, again, we know they want to be run-heavy and very run-focused. So I'd like to see what kind of follow-up there is in terms of Desmond Ritter and getting Drake London, Pitts, although, again, I'm not sure if I would start Pitts because you've got Jonnu involved. Any other receiver, whether that be Mac the Knife, Jesus, or
Can we see a Van Jefferson sighting?
Wow.
No, he's not. He is on Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Might take a week for him.
Well,
just a week.
It's been that week, hasn't it? It's been the week.
Yeah, it's been over a week. Could we see a Van Jefferson sighting?
Could they have brought in Van Jefferson to, stretch this field for London, for Pitts?
Yeah, that's probably what.
I'm not sure how involved Van Jefferson really will be, because if he didn't excel in the Rams offense with Stafford and McVay, I'm not sure what the hell he's going to do here. But again, more of my intrigue.
Gotcha. All right. If you guys are looking in the chat, I'll post it up here. Whatever Fantasy Football Addict says, screenshot it and play it. It's pure money. So I'm going to ask you guys right now. Is Sam Howell or Desmond Ritter startable in a one quarterback league this week? Don P, You first.
Just Howell, not Ritter at all.
All right. Best ball, Jonesy, go.
If you're on like a 14 team or a 16 team, maybe if you lost Anthony Richardson, I would go pick up Minshew. He's
right. I would
jump the ball more than Richardson does. I mean, and just to go back to the Kyle Pitts thing real quick, since I'm already talking. The Commanders are very good against tight ends. I don't see Pitts having a good game here. I just wanted to make that clear.
I don't know, man. Cole Kmet kind of went crazy.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, through the first 5 games, they're giving 4 receptions on average for 27 yards on average.
Well, who are the tight ends that they faced in the first?
I'm not sure, but
they're
giving up a lot more to wide receivers, obviously.
Yeah.
So I would see London and maybe a little bit of Hollins,
Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith doesn't exactly strike fear as a Travis Kelce
to the tight ends the most. So
yeah, fair assessment. JC, is Sam Howell or Desmond Ritter startable this week?
In a 1 quarterback league, no. In a 2 QB league, if you waited on taking your second quarterback, you kind of have to at this point, or you are doing it like as I am in 1 league, as my second quarterback. So yeah, I mean, that's how you drafted. That's you really don't have another option in a deep league like that. But in a 1 QB league, no.
Yeah, fair. So what I'm going to say is Sam Howell, absolutely no way is Sam Howell startable in 1 QB league, 2 QB league, DFS league. He shouldn't even be on your roster this week. And I know that doesn't make sense, but he shouldn't be on your roster this week. Desmond Ritter, on the other hand, I think he has a chance. As Jonesy alluded to, as Patrick alluded to, as JC alluded to, this secondary sucks. They struggle. Whether or not it's the tight end position or the wide receiver position, we know that they're going to get beat deep. Who's got to throw the fucking ball? It's got to be Ritter. Right? So if Drake London eats, Mac Holland eats, Kyle Pitts eats, Van Dam Jefferson eats, if any of them eat, I think Ritter is a formidable option this week. Sam Howell, on the other hand, I don't like him. Here's why. Because CJ Stroud, who I really like, I'm really high on, who takes care of the football, doesn't get sacked, doesn't throw picks, doesn't fumble, doesn't do any of that shit. He struggled last week against this Atlanta defense. What do you think is going to happen against Sam Howell with a worse O-line than the most broken O-line in all of football? It's gonna be awful. So for that, I'm out on Jahan Dotson. I'm out on Terry McLaurin. Even my guy Logan Thomas, I'm not really feeling it.
I don't know. They did pretty well against my Steelers.
We did make
up a sack.
We did make a recommendation earlier in the week for Sam Howell. If you needed to pick up a tight end, he may be the sneaky stream. Logan Thomas. That might be the sneaky stream if you needed a tight end this week. I'm not playing McLaurin. I'm not playing Curtis Samuel. Poor man's Debo.
No, none of them.
I don't own one Redskin. How about that?
Commander.
That's right. I keep calling them Redskins. I'm sorry.
Seeing owning Redskin just adds fuel to the fire there.
They need to go back to Washington.
They should.
Yeah.
Well, that's even more difficult. Why can't we just say Redskins?
Yeah, I like Redskins myself.
Yeah,
they're always Redskins to me. I'm old.
Uncle Mercy says Tyrod Taylor sneaky pickup. Speaking of Tyrod Taylor, I'm going to that game.
Let's go to that game.
I'm going to be there. I'm
going there. Are you really going?
I'm going. Yeah, 100%. We got the tickets and everything. My buddy Knifey.
Really?
Yeah, man, we're going. My buddy Knifey.
Going to that game to talk about right now. I didn't even know you
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll get to that game, but I'm going. My buddy Adrian said, "Hey, I was supposed to go to Vegas, but I'm going to Toronto. You want to meet up in Buffalo for the football game?" I'm like, "It's the Giants. It's going to be a blowout." He's like, "You're right." I'm like, "Okay, just to hang out with you, absolutely. I'm coming."
Still a football game.
It's a Sunday nighter, and I love Buffalo. Buffalo is a great place to go to a football game.
Definitely.
Won't be that cold.
Be there.
Yeah.
Gotta get some photos. We need some photos we can put up.
You guys, our friend group is just going to be me spamming photos. All right, we didn't really talk about Tyler Algier. Do we see an anytime touchdown for Tyler Algier? I like it this week.
No.
I like it this week. I think this is a Tyler Algier touchdown game. Is he going to be phenomenal in fantasy? He's going to get you at least over 7-8 points. I think he's flexible. Like not
still that TD.
Matter, but
he steals the TD.
I'd put money on Bijan getting a touchdown before.
Okay.
Algier.
Okay. Just
Yeah, but I'm
remember,
due
guys,
for a loss, and I got
guys,
nothing,
remember, I'm
so I
taking
can't
notes,
do it.
right? These takes, I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
I'm saying Tyler Algier anytime touchdown. Is there anything else that we want to talk about this game? Is Brian Robinson benchable, or is he startable?
If you have to, you start him, I guess. But
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it.
Is he RB2,
He's
fringe RB3, flex?
He's your low end RB2 or a high end flex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I remember it was one of you guys who said sell high. I don't remember who it was, but you said sell high on Brian Robinson, and I looked at why you were saying it, and it was absolute fire. So I sold high everywhere. Good. Okay, next game. We got the San Francisco 49ers, who are 6.5-point underdogs against the Cleveland Browns. I'm sure this changed with the Deshaun Watson news. I already fired up that blessed -6.5. I wonder what the spread's at now, but it should be a lot higher, especially with who the hell PJ Walker can who?
Yeah, is it PJ Walker? Or is that who they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going with PJ Walker over DTR. So. I mean, like money line straight up San Francisco. I don't know what the money line's at now or the spread's at now. Somebody let me know, but we'll figure it out.
I think it's over 10.
It should be over 16 right now.
Well, I got it at a very, very tasty.
It started very low.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. So Hussein says Trevor Lawrence or Gardner Minshew. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Lawrence guys or JC?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Remember what Calvin Ridley did last time these two played?
Trevor Lawrence is playing good football.
You guys remember what Calvin Ridley did last time these two teams played?
Oh yeah.
He ate. He went crazy. All right, Scott Reynolds. Sorry to be late again. I am looking for advice on setting my lineup and need to pick from two wide receivers from the list. AJ Brown against the Colts. AJ Brown's not against the Colts. Calvin Ridley's against the Colts. AJ Brown's against the Jets. Christian Kirk against the Colts. I would say AJ Brown and Calvin Ridley. What's your advice, fellas?
Same.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think Christian Kirk is going to have a good game. I think Christian Kirk should do well.
Is this well? We'll get to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
right?
the Colts are really bad.
We haven't covered Philly yet. But
yeah, he said I also have a choice of DK Metcalf against the Bengals. I'm going to go with Ridley and AJ Brown once again as a ceiling play.
Actually, I like DK. Actually,
I
don't mind him. He's a little banged up though.
I'll tell you, I really like Jamar Chase. But let's talk about this game.
Yeah.
Is there anybody? Because clearly, Debo, we love Debo. Kittle, he's in a decent matchup. I'll start by saying this. This Cleveland Browns defense is way better than I thought it would be. They're performing very spectacularly. But this San Francisco 49ers offense has zero weakness, right? So Brock Purdy startable. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Just
week.
not or say no.
Week,
if you say no, then we'll talk about it. Brock Purdy startable, right?
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey startable, right? Shut up, Jonesy. All right, Debo and Ayuk startable, right?
All of them.
Kittle startable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I made my point, let's go over to the Cleveland side. Is there anybody on the Cleveland side worth starting in, your regular PPR one quarterback league? Doesn't matter how many teams there are. Is there anybody you want? Amari Cooper, Jerome Ford, Elijah Moore, David Njoku. Shout out to David Njoku. That guy burnt himself really, really bad. Those injuries look severe, and he balled out. I'm not playing him, but he balled out.
I don't think he's playing this week though.
I think he's going to play.
Really? I just seen a thing where it said very questionable now.
Well, that whole team is questionable, right?
Yeah. In more ways than one.
Okay, the only one I consider playing on that team. That's it. If I had
so unanimously, who'd you say is the only person you play?
Cooper, maybe if I had to.
Am I? Okay, yeah. If he's on your team, he's like a Judy situation.
You almost have to, and you're like, all right.
I agree. I agree 100%.
If there's a better option though for you, on your bench where you might have to take a flyer. And you have a Cleveland Brown, it's going to be this game.
Yes.
We could play a little bit of devil's advocate if you want. If you got to cross your fingers and perhaps hope that Jerome Ford could maybe break away a tackle. But then it just circles right back to the fact that they're playing the Niners.
Niners be playing on a lot of short field, I think, with this quarterback.
We could probably go back to last season and check out some of Walker's games. They weren't god awful, right? In Carolina, there were a couple that he definitely connected and definitely looked all right. But again, let's circle it back. He's playing the 49ers. Now, I don't expect, and let me ask you guys this. Do you really expect San Fran to just absolutely dominate in the same fashion? Like it kind of felt like they did that to Dallas to make a statement. Here now in Cleveland, I don't really think that they're going to absolutely pummel the Browns. If the Niners even play like a little bit down to their competition here, they should still absolutely win this game. So then again, it begs the question. It really does. Can Walker maybe connect with Amari Cooper a little bit? Can he maybe connect with any tight end that might play? Can Jerome Ford maybe break a tackle? He's not really breaking tackles.
So in the good games that Walker had last year with Carolina, that run game with Foreman, first and foremost, was spectacular.
Yes.
And Chuba was spectacular. But the games they went against good running defenses, Walker got killed. And this is one of the really, really, really good defenses. I will say if San Francisco does have any quote-unquote weaknesses, which is like middle of the pack, they're 18th out of the 32 teams in terms of allowing fantasy points to the wide receiver group. But like that's still middle of the pack, and that front seven is still unstoppable. And it's a good O-line, but like I'm not playing any of them.
And right, no, and again, it's like okay, this might be a different situation if it was Deshaun Watson. Although I'm not very, very bullish on him anyway. So again, it's not even they elevated Walker ahead of DTR, which makes sense actually. It's just a really, really bad spot. If it was my roster and I have Jerome Ford, I spent all that fab money, whether I had Chubb or not. This is not a good spot. You're crossing your fingers that Jerome Ford could maybe make a big play.
Speaking of Jerome Ford, I think after this week he's a spectacular buy low option, especially with the trade deadline coming soon. Let's go to the next game. We got the New Orleans Saints, who are 1.5 point favorites coming against the Houston Texans. The over-under is 42.5. Let's talk about the straight-up money line and the players we like. So we'll go with the money line first. Jonesy, who do you like? Who's winning this game between New Orleans and Houston? It is in Houston.
Does anyone know how Derek Carr's been doing? Is he?
He's improving. He's getting
better. And is there still limitations on him for
he's
throwing?
A tough son of a bitch, is what he is.
Yeah, the Saints are the better team, obviously, and I think the Saints do pull out the win.
Yeah,
I just think overall, if you match them up, offense to offense at least, I think the Saints pull ahead slightly with more talent. So I'm going to side with the Saints.
Gotcha. Don P, who are you riding with?
I'm riding with Houston.
Ooh, why?
I just have to fill out Stroud. He's just until he proves me wrong. I'm going to keep riding it. I think he's the man. He's him.
I like it. JC?
He's him. Tough game to predict. The Saints are the better team. CJ Stroud is playing very, very well for a rookie. I like a guy Damian Pierce against the Saints. How about that?
Oh, that could be a big time game right there. Finally, he's due for a game tomorrow.
If Damian Pierce has a game, these guys wins, and it's like not even close.
Sure.
But they go as he goes, and they are getting healthier on the offensive line. But this is a tough run defense.
This is a tough game. Where's this game?
Houston.
In Houston.
If I had to bet this game, I would bet Houston at home. That's what I would do. I think they get it done. I think Nico Collins has a good game. There's no Tank Dell. I think Damian Pierce has a good game. I think CJ Stroud is a borderline QB 12.
Yeah.
For this week.
I think Jonesy was on the right track with his thought process, and I'm just gonna to go off of what he was saying and add to that point, if Derek Carr's shoulder is fucked and he can't feed Chris Olave, because last week Chris Olave did score and you did call it Don P, so kudos to you. But he only had one reception.
I was wrong on Burrow though.
He only had one reception and he scored one touchdown, right? If Derek Carr cannot send the ball deep and throw the ball and be important in this passing game, they're not going to win off of the running game with Kamara alone, right? So it really does depend on Derek Carr's shoulder. I still don't think Derek Carr's shoulder is right.
Take a look at nonsense.
What nonsense say? Got the scoop from the beat writer that the shoulder injury is not affecting him. It's non-throwing shoulder, and play calling has been the issue. Hearing OC is on hot seat.
Nice.
Got the scoop from a beat writer.
I feel like
look at you go.
It's always the play calling with Derek Carr, isn't it?
Did he fly in there and get the scoop or what? Because he's been.
I don't know. It's the play calling. I mean, there is. I can see some truth to that, considering he does have a very talented Chris Olave. He does have a very talented speedster in Rashid Shaheed, and he's got a very, very solid. Who, in my opinion, I'm surprised that he's lasted 6 weeks. In Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Well, so with that being said, and nonsense, word is bond with nonsense. When he speaks, I listen. If Carr is fine, I'm going with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints, and our friend Fantasy Football Addict, our bet guru, says he likes the Texans money line on DraftKings plus 102.
That looks like that's even money to me, correct?
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's profitable. It's definitely profitable.
Well, Houston only has one offensive lineman from the original opening day lineup.
There's how about Bobby Trees? Commissioner Rhino's calling for Bobby Trees.
Oh, no, he's saying Woods might not be playing as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So both Dell and Woods could be out. Dell is out for sure.
So who's he throwing the ball to besides Nico?
John Mechie. Let's go, John Mechie. Shout out to John Mechie. So let's go. Godwin says
we got to get him on the show one time.
This is the John Mechie week, huh?
Yeah, I don't believe in it. Godwin says nonsense is a true pimp. P-I-M-P. Pimp also says Collins is a great DFS play. Sorry, what were you saying, Dumpy?
It's Pimp Juice, remember? Saturday night.
That's right. That's
his new name.
Saints OC was the Chargers OC last year. Could be truth to that. No, the Chargers OC. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I was thinking Dallas, but I had it all mixed up. All right. So anybody you guys love in this game? Anybody you guys are like, I need to play this guy. This guy's going to be a breakout player. Who's going to break out in this game?
Kendra Miller.
Ooh. Spicy.
That is spicy.
I like
it. He had what do you have, 4 targets in the last couple games or something? He had 50
he's been exceptional.
That could be
he had 54 yards receiving last week. Yeah. There's room for 2 running backs in New Orleans. Always was.
Yep. Radimus says he avoids this one. I think that's a good call, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, what about anytime touchdown? Is there anybody that we're like, this guy is a lock for an anytime touchdown in this game? I think that's a better question.
I'm going to go Pierce.
Damon Pierce?
Yeah, I'm liking that now.
Pierce is due.
We're due for one of them games. We're due for 100 yards. I'm even going to say 100 yards for Pierce.
Oh,
Singletary is not in the mix. He's not.
He's not even an option.
Yeah, Pierce's usage is going up by the week. So I mean, things are looking better for him. He just needs that offensive line to come together and be healthy,
which is getting healthy.
Yeah, and as soon as they do, if they ever do, Pierce can do some real damage. Finally. I mean,
you know who I'm going with, fellas? Shout out to my boy Ashton One. We're going with Taysom Hill. We're going with Taysom Hill, anytime touchdown, and we're going with Taysom Hill as our tight end in DFS. Let's fucking go. Moving on to the next game. We got the Carolina Panthers, who are 13.5-point dogs coming into Miami against the Miami Dolphins without Devon Achane. Mind you, the Panthers are missing also Miles Sanders this week, so fire up Raheem Blackshear. No, I'm kidding. Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard should be fairly decent. The over under is 48. How do we feel about that over under right there, fellas?
Well, that's kind of.
I know it's a toughie.
Yeah, it's a little high for that.
Well, I mean, they're expecting Carolina to get at least 20 to 21 points, and Miami to take care of the other 30.
Yeah, well, I don't see Carolina putting up that many points.
I think Carolina could against Miami. I think your guy Thielen. Maybe Bryce Young.
He's due for a down game though. Thielen's been on fire. He's been top 3 wide receiver in the last 4 weeks.
He's definitely in the top 10.
I think he's top 3 in the last 4 weeks or something. He's due for a down game, but I'm playing him anyway.
All right, who's your daddy's got a problem? It's I have to play a RB maybe between Pierce or Saquon. I would say personally, actually, I hate doing that. I always jump the gun and I always answer it before asking you guys, which is like a pet peeve of mine. So I'll ask. My trusted panel.
Just go first. That's good.
No, I know. No. I'll ask my trusted panel. Saquon or Pierce, Don P, who you riding with?
I want to roll Saquon, but I'm not doing it. I'm going Pierce. The doc says Saquon's no good.
Okay. Jonesy.
Depends on my lineup, but honestly, they're not throwing Saquon out there if he's not healthy. So I'm going Saquon.
Sieg?
He's the only offensive option. If he plays, he's got a really good ceiling if he's on that field, being the only option in this situation. Again, gotta monitor it. Obviously, it's a tricky situation because it's the Sunday night game.
Or is it Monday night game?
Sunday.
Okay.
The one I'm going to.
Oh yeah, the one you're going.
But again, if he's going to dress and get on the field, he's the greater weapon out of the two.
For sure.
I mean, like there's no debate there. But it's it's a bad spot due to the fact that it's the Sunday night game, and you're not going to know whether he's a go until fucking
make sure you have a
7:30.
Always make sure you have a backup
plan. Here's his backup plan, fellas. Here's his backup plan. He has Montgomery and Christian McCaffrey.
So then roll with that, Hoosier.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like. He needs to play one more. So go ahead and play Saquon. These guys are going to get all the fucking points. So he's either a very spectacular boom, being the only healthy guy who is still unhealthy on that offense with Tyrod Taylor. I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
That's why he's the GOAT. That's why he's the Hoosier GOAT, because we're trying to decide on his RB3 when he's already got Monty and Saquon
and we're thinking that his RB2 or 1,
Yeah, crazy. That's absolutely phenomenal. So I will go and say this: Saquon Barkley, and I've said this many times before, is my favorite player in the NFL. I'm a Patriots fan through and through, but Saquon Barkley is a generational talent, and he's my favorite player in the NFL, and that's the only reason why I'm going to this fucking blowout Sunday night and spending my money is to potentially see this man play.
So do I play Josh?
Third quarter, I'm beating the traffic. It's one way in, one way out.
It's
you know what I mean? It takes 3 hours to leave Orchard Park, so I'm out of there.
My friend, just be prepared to go to the game and marvel at the Mafia and Josh Allen and Diggs, just in case Barkley actually does not play. Because, again, if you really,
I'm ready for that.
If you really, I know you are. If you really want to get a little bit more into it, right? It's like, why would he play? This is a lost game anyway.
It makes zero sense. You're absolutely right.
It doesn't make any sense for him to play. However, it's still lurking that he might play.
All right, so we don't have to talk about that game later on. We don't have to talk about the game. We already covered it. All right, back to the topic at hand. Carolina versus Miami, over under 48. So you guys said you like Thielen. What about Chuba? Is Chuba playable this week? Jonesy, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get some usage. I think my favorite guy in this entire matchup on the Carolina side is Jonathan Mingo.
Mingo was his name.
Mingo was his name.
I actually like that call.
I mean, when he's in the game, he's getting, here, 5 targets, 8 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets. I mean, Thielen's getting the bulk, but Thielen's not taking anything to the house, So Mingo can, and I like him in this game. Yeah, I mean, Chuba, if you need it, yeah, it doesn't excite me. But
He's only 4,400 on Owner's Box DFS.
Yeah, everyone's gonna.
It's not a bad
flock
play.
to him, in DFS, probably, as they always do.
Yeah, I'm there, and I'm there with Foreman, who's $4,200.
Yeah,
those guys are literally on every single one of my 150 lineups. All right, so anybody else as a panel, and go ahead and speak up. Anybody else we like as a fantasy football play for Carolina this week?
I think we covered everybody in Carolina.
We didn't talk about DJ Chark.
Or
does lead the team.
Or Laviska.
Laviska Shenault. I don't know, man. He looked kind of good last week. But DJ Chark does lead the team and the league in yards per target.
Oh.
So that's a huge stat. So
I didn't know that.
He's a big spike, and you guys know how I feel about these guys who are like, you're either going super boom or super bust. I think DJ Chark every week is a spectacular option. I think he's phenomenal. I love him. I think DJ Chark with that kind of volume, that kind of option. I like DJ Chark. He's definitely in some of my DFS lineups. And if in hindsight was 2020, I would have played DJ Chark over Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Jeudy was my fucking flex, and I didn't realize that until Jonesy said it and the game had started. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I digress. I progress. All right. So we like Tyreek Hill. We like Jalen Waddle, right? We like Tua Tagovailoa. We like Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
Who else do we like for Miami?
Dare I say Salvin Ahmed?
Oh.
Dare I say it? I mean, like, again,
You like that?
You dare.
The way Miami's O-line was moving the Giants in the direction that they wanted them to move, where the running backs were just going through the gaps, through the holes in the other direction. Okay. Like, honestly, I've never seen anything like it. It was like masterful. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Miami's O-line is going to be able to do that and replicate that again with Carolina, although they probably shouldn't be that difficult, but it is difficult. Raheem Mostert obviously is a good play. Sneaky play, Salvin Ahmed. Sneaky play on the receiving side with Tua. Could be your guy or your former guy, Durham Smythe. Maybe a little Braxton Berrios. Maybe.
I love Berrios.
Maybe Chase Deadpool. All of my guys are on the same team now.
Chase Deadpool.
They're all on the same team.
I forgot about him. Do you real quick? Do you realize that I didn't? Chase Deadpool is playing with Robbie Anderson on the same team. The two
Chosen Anderson.
Chosen Anderson, right?
Chosen Deadpool. Yeah,
Chosen to sit on the bench.
They're sitting right. I'm glad these guys
like
could watch on the sidelines. I really am.
So I would say this: Salvin Ahmed is a phenomenal call, JC, simply because this is the 31st out of 32 run defenses, means they're the second worst rush defense in terms of fantasy points. I think that's a spectacular call.
Like,
he could be a fringe flex play if you're in a situation like me.
Like,
I think Mostert gets benched by the third quarter because they're up 30-0 or something.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They're going to bench Mostert as soon as they're up in this game. They're not going to play him and risk injury for him. They're already down on running backs.
The way they have,
and if they're smart, they do, right?
The way that they have built and kind of formulated this rushing attack with McDaniel in the last year and a half now, I think it's safe to say that any decent running back could excel in this system. Right. Whether that be Salvin Ahmed, Jeff Wilson, who was going to get the opportunity until he's now a late scratcher. I'm not even sure.
Like Fran used to be, right?
I'm not even sure you can call it a scratch because he was never going to get on the field. So I mean, again, Salvin Ahmed, I would go with sneaky play for a flex.
Now,
let me ask the panel. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jonesy. My bad.
Does anyone know, have they opened the 21-day window on
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Told you something was up there.
So let me ask you guys a question as a panel. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up the prop for his receiving yards, and my shit is crashing. Okay, so Tyreek Hill, is he getting over or under 100 receiving yards this week? Don P, you first.
Well over. It's not even gonna be close. Just easy. That's easy money.
Okay, Jonesy.
Yeah, I'd go the over.
JC.
I mean, like, how do you bet under?
You click the under button.
Yeah, there's a button.
Yeah, I would do that if we were talking.
You have to be a smart ass.
I would do that if we were talking about like maybe 55 other wide receivers, but like, yeah, Tyreek Hill goes over 100 yards. The man wants 2,000, so he's gonna have to go over 100 here.
So this brings
Maybe
me to my lock of the week, fellas, because I knew I saw this and I was like, "There's no way." I have him projected for 100.1 receiving yards. His prop right now on all sports books is 87.5 receiving yards for minus 110 odds. Smash the over, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
What a setup! What a setup! And I have him projected at 0.8 touchdowns. So anytime touchdown with that prop, nice little same game parlay. You're welcome. Free money. Hashtag free money. What's up, JC?
Something's off. Something's wrong.
Yeah, that's
why is that low? Game script,
right? It's game script, and it's like
they're going to be up 30-0.
Exactly. And he has been sitting, whether they're blowing a team out or they're losing in the last couple of games, right? He has been sitting in the majority of the fourth quarter. So if he's not seeing fourth quarter action, that's why it's that low and something's got to give. So there is a risk based on game script. And I love that you brought that up. And speaking of risks, do not bet more than you can afford. Like if you can afford it, do it. Don't go more than you can afford. This is not financial advice, folks. No, we're not liable for your losses. We're just putting it out there.
JG Wentworth.
We do this for fun. We do this for fun because we can do this for fun. And if you want to do it for fun, tail us. All right, let's go to the next game, folks. Seattle Seahawks, who are actually 2.5-point dogs coming into Cincinnati. The over-under is 45, and I love the over in this matchup. But once again, it's not about me. It's about my beautiful, wonderful panel right now. JC, talk to me. Who's winning this game?
I think the Bengals will win the game. They'll win the game. It's going to be a close game, as the spread indicates. I expect Burrow and Chase to continue to do what they're doing. I don't know. Is Joe Mixon crossing the goal line this week? When's the smash week for Joe Mixon? Is it coming in week 6 or wasn't it week 7 last year that he had the 5 touchdowns? Yeah, so it's definitely coming. It's just a question of
who did he do against last year?
It's Carolina.
They don't play. They don't play each other this year.
It was Carolina.
So to answer your question, no, it's not. It's not coming. It's not.
How do you remember it was Carolina? I can't remember that far back.
My question for the panel would be: was the bye week a good enough time frame to get JSN right, or to get the script right for JSN? Can we see some JSN? Tyler Lockett hasn't been great.
No, but like here's the thing, right? Just like the Denver Broncos backfield, just like the Baltimore Ravens backfield, I think this receiving core is kind of a similar deal where it's DK Metcalf or bust, right? You can't really project Tyler Lockett or Jackson Smith-Njigba unless DK goes down. If DK goes down, fire him up. Fire him up as many times as you'd like, but he leads them in targets. He leads them in yards. In reps.
I got to cut a guy, JSN
running routes.
Zeke.
Yeah, that's crazy.
JSN or Zeke.
So Scott Reynolds says, so Waddle is a good start if you think that Hill sits with the lead. Waddle is forever a great spectacular start. He every week he has a chance to be wide receiver number 1. There's not a week where he doesn't have a chance to be wide receiver 1, and this is a very good spectacular opportunity for. So yeah, definitely. Stephen Hewlick, Uncle Mercy says, betting the house on your recommendations. Fuck that. Fantasy Football Addict says Chark over 31.5 minus 115 is a great play. I agree. I like that play. I'd take those odds 100%. That's why I like you here, sir. I love having you here. So let's say, okay, Kenneth Walker. We like Kenneth Walker. DK, we kind of like DK. Joe Burrow, Gino. Who is going to be the guy who's going to be at the top of the fantasy football world after week 6 in this game? Do we foresee a guy stepping up and being like the man in fantasy football after this week? Jones, I'll go with you. Who's the guy?
I'm going to say Jamar Chase.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think Burrow is healthy.
Finally.
Kind of showed it last week,
Yeah.
And that connection that Burrow and Chase have is the best in the league. There's no duo that is better. So now that Burrow is unlocked, that unlocks Chase.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love DK in this matchup, but I would always side Chase over anyone almost.
Now, should T. Higgins come back? Does that hurt Chase?
No, because I mean, T. Higgins is in there all the time when Chase is going off. I mean, and
but he wasn't there last week.
Yeah, he wasn't there last week, but I mean, look at the history, though. I mean,
they didn't need him last week, though.
Yeah,
true. True. I listen. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just creating.
Well, I'm not either. I'm just trying to throw out my opinion.
It's a show. So Kenneth
I wish
Walker,
I would listen to you last week because I could have played Burrow, but instead I played Stack.
It's okay, man.
Let's go.
It's okay, man. Honestly, I'm glad you don't listen to me because I'm wrong more times than I'm right. Honestly. So if you guys had to choose between Joe Burrow and Geno Smith this week, who are you going with?
Burrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always Burrow.
And is Geno startable in a 1 QB league?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
He's that fringe QB12 with CJ Stroud, maybe Jared Goff. Yeah, so if that was your QB that you drafted, you could start him.
I need to look at your tier rankings because Jared Goff is that low for you. It's Jared Goff's like top 5 right now.
Same tier as
Jared Goff's been playing out of line, but let's not forget this is also a very, very run-centric offense, and their aerial attack comes from that. So Jared Goff's been playing spectacular football. He's still,
and they love to run it down low. They love to run it inside.
Still probably picking 10 or 11 quarterbacks ahead of him, though.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, Kenneth Walker or Joe Mixon? Jonesy, go.
Walker.
Kenny Skywalker.
Seahawks are too good against the run.
Yeah.
Mixon might have a tough game, yeah.
So I will agree with the panel simply because this is the 32nd out of 32nd defensive backs in terms of allowing points to the wide receiver room. This is why we do our projections and our numbers. And if you guys want to access it, just DM me. It's free as of now. But when you realize that this is
now.
This is money, and a lot of us have been cashing with my projections.
Get it now, baby. Get it now.
Get it while you can.
Yeah, you're gonna wish you got it while it was free. All right. So yeah, that is a very, very big fact. So T. Higgins, fire him up if he's on your team. Tyler Boyd, I even think is a fringe flex play if you're desperate. I think this entire offense, except for fucking Irv Smith Jr., is going to have a spectacular day. Let's go on to the next game. You guys,
would you go so far to say Chase is the number 1 receiver by the end of the year?
Yeah, it was me that said that.
Yeah, I got him too, so I'm agreeing with it.
Yeah, we're on pace.
I want to ask you guys. Can I ask you guys one thing before we move on games?
No.
One thing when I was doing my snap target breakdown, the biggest thing that surprised me out of every single team that I went through was I know Higgins was out, but I was so surprised that Chase had 19 targets last week, but number 2 was Trenton Irwin with 10 targets, and Tyler Boyd had 7.
Didn't they cut him earlier and didn't they cut him then sign him to the practice squad
and brought him back? Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's fantasy relevant, but Boyd. He's always been that guy that always stepped into whatever injury they had and produced usually.
I was by.
Does anyone see Irwin maybe creeping up into that third wide receiver slot now?
I love that you said that because Tyler Boyd, on the nights he's supposed to ball out, he disappears.
He doesn't now.
He doesn't ball out. you cannot project Tyler Boyd. So I love that you said that, Jonesy. That's why you
Great
are
call.
who you are, and we love your takes, my friend.
Disco and guys, we had this conversation a few weeks ago when Joe Burrow was not looking very good, and whether you could keep Tyler Boyd or you should start Tyler Boyd. And we said that this man is not startable right now, and it remains that way. He is not a fantasy asset at this time. He's droppable.
He's a tertiary play in DFS.
He's tertiary, and maybe below that.
But the Bengals
I'm not saying that word. I know you're going to say it, and every time you say it, my heart smiles. Richard Hernandez says full PPR can only keep 3 RBs. I need to drop one. Now that Taylor's back, who do I drop? James Cook, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor. Can't make a trade until I put JT off the IR. Who are your wide receivers or your tight ends? Like, you might as well just drop your starting tight end and go with a vacant position because that is a fucking.
Does he have
I would roll with an empty roster spot before I drop one of them. 100%.
Does he have he may have a roster limit though?
Yeah,
that doesn't count if someone's on IR. So if he brings someone back, maybe he only can carry a certain amount of running backs. That would be my first. Otherwise, I would cut. If you have a second, can only keep 3 RBs.
Can only keep. He did say it. He did say it.
So he wants to take JT off IR. He has to put JT on the active roster.
Fudge. I hate to say it right now, but
you're gonna cut Cook.
You're gonna cut James Cook.
Yeah, but that's terrible. You can't cut him. But that's the cut.
Hey man, this is the best worst conundrum I've ever had.
Why can't hold on a second? Hold on. Wait 1 second. Why can't the trade get made while JT's on IR?
Yeah. Richard.
Couldn't you just trade?
Yeah, talk to committee.
Richard, get your commissioner here. We're gonna call him out. We got your back, sir. We got your back, Richard. JC, that's a fire response.
Well, I think he's saying he can't trade him. Can't trade JT, but why couldn't he trade any of the other guys? Either?
Exactly.
I would try trading one of the other guys, and I mean, I want to keep Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, but he had Jonathan Taylor probably on the IR last week, and
your commissioner sounds like he's got a little fucking.
So I would try moving like James Cook and trying to upgrade a different position.
Yeah, so it's like okay, trade. It doesn't. Something's off here because like you like a trade.
If it is what it is,
a trading. Let's say hypothetically.
Why is Taylor still on the IR though? He shouldn't have been on the IR last week.
Yeah, true.
Hypothetically, it's not you can't do a trade because that's like you're still stuck in the same roster limit. So it has to be a drop. It has to be a drop to activate JT. Is the way I'm seeing it in my head.
Yeah. Say our friend is forced to drop. We're unanimously saying James Cook.
Yeah. It would have to be James Cook. In this
I'm saying DeAndre Swift.
But then that also, it's like as an owner, you're letting James Cook now into the free agency pool, and that sucks bad.
Yeah,
that sucks out loud.
And this is why you should not play on ESPN ever. He said ESPN will not allow me to make any moves until I remove JT from IR.
But
it has
it is,
and they won't allow you to
be on IR anyway, though.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been just like I said.
Yeah, and they won't allow you to make any moves. Before the opening kickoff of week 1. It's been the same way for the last 3 years.
As Don P said, get rid of your tight end.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Or a kicker. If you got a kicker, roll out a kicker.
Yeah. Okay, next game. You guys ready?
Yep.
Indianapolis Colts without Anthony Richardson, kind of a heartbreaker. They're 4-point underdogs coming into Jacksonville. The over-under is 45.5. Let's talk about the over-under. Do we like the over or under? We'll start with you, JC.
I think this game will go over. I think it'll go over. I think Gardner Minshew has demonstrated enough where he could be competent enough in the passing game to hit Pittman, to hit Downs. I like Downs in this game, operating either as wide receiver 2 wide out or operating out of the slot.
Is he healthy?
Downs?
I think he is.
Okay, you're right. It was Dell. I got them mixed up. They're both little fast guys.
I think the Jacksonville slot DB or nickel DBs there in Jacksonville are allowing like high amount of pass rate percentage to two slot wide receivers. So I think Downs, if he operates out of that, that's going to be a good play. I think the bigger question here is JT, our guy that we've just been talking about, will the running back usage flip now this week? Or is it going to be Zach Moss? I think JT will get more usage. I think Zach Moss will take a back seat. But we don't know. Zach Moss has been playing freaking lights out, breaking tackles, explosive runs, and he's killing it. So I don't know what their plan is for JT at this time. That's the $1 million question. Will I start JT in one of my dynasty teams? I am going to start him this week, but
fair. Okay, Don P, over under 45.5.
Well over.
I saw you fucking raising the roof there, brother.
Way over.
Stop flexing your biceps. We get it. You're jacked. Jonesy, over under.
I'm going to take the under, honestly. I kind of got this a feeling like I did when KC played in Jacksonville, where everyone thinks over, but those games in Jacksonville sometimes where you think they should be clear overs, they just don't seem to game script that way. So I'm going to take the under. I mean, I think both teams, I think it'll be close. I think they'll probably go 42 or something, or pretty damn close to it. But I think it's going to be an under game.
You know what? I'm going to take the under as well, simply because yards does not translate into touchdowns, right? Both of these teams put up an incredible amount of yardage, and I feel like without Anthony Richardson and that threat to run into the end zone as a quarterback, pretty much uncovered, I think the touchdown upside for the Colts goes down. But I also like the Colts in a straight-up money line in this game. I feel like the Colts, if you stuff Travis Etienne, which they did last time they played, if you stuff Travis Etienne and force Trevor Lawrence to pass more than he's comfortable with, then the Jags lose. That's the recipe to beat this team. Buffalo couldn't stop Travis Etienne, right? No. And they Doug Peterson of all people loves to run the rock. So yeah, I like the Colts in this game. I think the Colts have the front seven to stop Travis Etienne. I think Calvin Ridley is going to have a spectacular game. I think he's going to eat, but it could also be one of those days where it's like everybody fires up Calvin Ridley and then it's a Christian Kirk game, right? So I'm going to ask you guys about this. How do you guys feel about Michael Pittman in this game? What kind of fantasy numbers are we expecting? Give me like, do you guys expect 10, 15, 20, 25 fantasy points, full point PPR? Jonesy, go first.
I mean, I think 10 to 12 is probably a pretty safe number for me. I think he goes, 60 and a touchdown.
Dumpy?
I'll say 8 catches, 103 yards and a touchdown.
That's a good game.
Fuck, that's like 22.
This is going to be the Gardner Minshew show.
That's a good game.
I love that. I love that.
Minshew-mania game. It's coming. Everybody's going to be cheering him on again. It's all over again. We'll be seeing it all over the place.
So just give me a fantasy number. How many fantasy points in PPR is he going to give you? Like over 25?
Yeah, probably 24, 25, somewhere in there, yeah.
Okay. Watch it be like spot on 24 fantasy points.
Jonesy's the one calling.
Don P doesn't miss. All right, JC, talk to me. Michael Pittman.
He doesn't. With that endorsement, with that prediction from Don P and Michael Pittman, I mean, I'm almost tied to it. But I kind of feel more like how you said, Disco, in terms of yards don't always translate for scoring and for touchdowns. I think Pittman's going to have a good game. I don't think he's going to get in the end zone for some reason. I just don't. So give me 80 yards. Give me 75, 80 yards with 5 to 6 catches. I guess that translates to somewhere between 12 and 14 points.
So I have him projected for 14 fantasy points this week.
Yeah. Boom.
So
I like Downs better this game.
Yeah.
I like Downs a lot.
He likes Downs better too. If you look at it, he throws Downs more.
Yeah.
But I think they.
Yeah. When you look at the targets, I mean, Pittman's always going to be the man, But with Josh Downs, he's been pretty consistent and then he gets a huge spike week, when Minshew's in there, and then he's back to normal with Richardson, So I really like the passing game with Minshew in there.
I like everything about the Colts.
Now, let's go to the next question. If you had to pick between Jonathan Taylor or Zach Moss, you can say whoever you want that you want to play from Indianapolis this week, or who you like this week, or Travis Etienne, who you riding with, who has the better fantasy game. Don P.
Jonathan Taylor all day. Zach Moss is going to be a forgotten thing.
Okay, Jonesy. That's a fire take.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm choosing between the Colts guys, I'm always choosing Taylor, and I may be wrong 4 weeks in a row, but sooner or later, it's the flip is going to happen. So I'm always riding with the better talent always.
Me too.
So, I'm going to go with Taylor too.
Ron Karras loves Josh Downs, by the way. JC.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against the grain here. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. That will see the uptick with usage, and I believe it does flip in his favor this week.
All right, so I'm just looking at the matchups right now. The Jags rushing defense, it's weird. They're the 7th best rush defense. Like, they stop the run in terms of fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
They allow the 7th least amount of fantasy points to running backs, whereas the Colts, and I was considering this completely differently, but the numbers don't lie. The Colts are the 20th out of 32 teams in allowing fantasy points. And based off of what he's been doing thus far this year, based off of these numbers alone, I have Etienne projected as my RB number 5, and I'm going to go Etienne over both of them. I think he outscores the both of them. It's going to be the Gardner Minshew show, like you said, Don P, and that pass game. And I think another sneaky tertiary play, a guy who has a phenomenal matchup going against the 28th worst defense against the tight end position, Kyle Granson or Mo Ali Cox.
Oh,
if he's healthy. But one of those guys.
What is that? Tertiary. Is our tertiary.
Oh, okay.
Is that like the tush push play or what?
No, that's the brotherly shove.
Oh.
That's the brotherly shove.
We're getting there, though.
I know. I had to just say it.
I know. Anything else that we want to talk about this game before we move on to this next one?
I think we're good.
Good.
All right.
No, I got nothing else.
You know it's great. I have both of you on this week, and I don't have to talk about the terrible Pittsburgh Steelers or the Green Bay Packers this week. That's great. All right, moving on. Next game, Minnesota Vikings without Justin Jefferson. The Justin Jefferson list.
Look at this. You're waiting for this one, right?
They're 2.5-point favorites still against the improved. They are who we thought they were. The Bears are who we thought they were.
The upstart.
If you want a crown them.
The uprising.
Against Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and friends. The over-under is 44.5. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the money line. This one is about fantasy football, period. Okay, so we're gonna do the comparison game. You guys ready? And I want you guys just to say who you like, and if you're very passionate about it, just say, Don P, your water, Jonesy, your Mountain Dew, your Dr. Pepper, I'm pickles. All right, cool. Just shout it out. All right, Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, go.
Fields
big.
Fucking Justin Fields.
Yep.
Fuck Cousins.
Yep.
I'm going against Fields in a lot of leagues, so he's definitely going off.
Yep.
Don P,
usually when we're unanimous about Fields, it's the other guys. So for that, I'm going Fields. Fuck it.
We have to double down, Don P. We've been saying Justin fucking Fields since last May.
I know.
Since May. So I mean, like we're doubling down. Like it's Justin Fields. I don't care.
It's all day, Justin Fields.
He's playing the Vikings. There are some elements to the Vikings defense that can be a little stingy. They can be had as well. And we know this.
I love how Fantasy Football Addict is literally just putting money in our live chat right now. He also he's dropped 8 free plays right now. He's going to start charging eventually. So
I don't see that. I don't see that hitting for some reason. He's not
killing.
He's not used very often in the passing game, is he?
He should be utilized more, but
should be story. But he's not.
My projections for each in terms of receptions, the reception perception. I got him for 3.1 receptions.
I look forward to putting out all these props, every single one of them between Disco Jonesy and Fantasy Football Addict, and blasting them to our dedicated audiences on the Twitter X. So I can't wait for that. But all right, let's proceed.
There's another fire one. He said Fields over 51.5. His rationale is no Herbert, no Rose.
Yeah, he's the other running back. He's the other running back.
Okay, speaking of running backs, Alexander Madison or Donta Foreman? Who are we riding with?
Madison.
I'm gonna take. Well, okay. I like both of them actually. I think Madison will score. I think he will do well against the Bears. I think Cam Akers again might be a little sneaky, but maybe not. I think Madison's gonna have a good game. Donta Foreman, hello, cue up Donta Foreman.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same time of year as when he took over when CMC was traded.
He had 5 games in a row with 100 yards rushing.
That's really symbolic, but at the same time, he's capable. He's capable with a full workload ahead of him. With the only competition would be Justin Fields. I do like both of them.
Fair. Okay, so far we got. So JC, you got to pick one. Who you like more? Who's going to score more fantasy points, Madison or Foreman?
Oh, I think Donta Foreman will have a better fantasy game.
Don P.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too, but it's really close. You can flip a coin here. You can flip a coin.
I want to say Foreman because he's on my lineup.
That's why
Madison.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Madison because in terms of rushing, points allowed, this is the 30th out of 32 teams.
This is a Jonesy call.
That's Gatorade. That's Gatorade.
I don't have a Dr. Pepper today.
You just gotta say Dr. Pepper. You gotta say Dr. Pepper. So I'm riding with Jonesy. I'm riding with my guy Jonesy. Go ahead, Dr. Pepper.
I want to raise this.
You can't have a Dr. Pepper.
I'd like to raise this theory to you, fine gentlemen, and to everyone that's in the chat. The fantasy community was very bullish this week, obviously, trying to get any piece that they could on KJ Osborne, and anybody that has Jordan Addison is now very, very, very giddy and happy that he's in the starting lineup, ready to go, fire him up. Is there a world here where we are just mistaken, where now Chicago could somehow, some way play those 2 wide receivers? KJ Osborne obviously has more experience than the rookie Jordan Addison. Play these 2, blanket them somehow, try to limit them. I don't know if you could limit Hockenson as well, but where the 2 wide receivers don't have the game that is the requisite for filling in for.
Wait, did you just use a big word? Did you just say requisite? Motherfucker. Carry on.
The requisite production that is vacated by Justin Jefferson.
The hot fire. I like that. I'm
serious about this.
I'm serious too.
So that goes to the Alexander Madison. That's why I think he's going to have a good game, because I think we're expecting a little too much out of Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne.
100%.
I think it's Hawkinson from the rest of the year. He's going to become the number one.
Guys, you guys are ruining my game. All right.
Well, this is look. I mean, we're here to do business and have fun, right? We're doing business.
I hear you. Yeah. So if you had to play Jordan Addison or DJ Moore, who are you riding with?
I mean, I got
DJ Moore.
I thought you were going to say Addison.
Always DJ Moore.
It's always DJ Moore. You start him.
It's DJ Moore right now for sure, hands down. But that's not to say, okay, I get that you're starting KJ Osborne and you're starting Jordan Addison right now. but I would temper the expectations if you are an owner of Addison and Osborne. I'm not, okay. I'm really I'm not an owner of either of these dudes.
Okay, so who's the better option right now, in your opinion? Is it KJ Osborne or Jordan Addison?
It's Addison.
I don't know. I don't know. I would flip a coin. I would have to flip a coin, and I would go with experience. Hope that it lands on KJ Osborne.
Jonesy?
Well, the thing is that
I like when he goes. He's about to some fire.
I know. So KJ Osborne, the upside with him is he can play any position in that offense. You know, this is going to be the real test for Addison. You know, he's been the flashy guy. You know, of course, Justin Jefferson was always the focus, and then Addison was getting those deep balls. Without Jefferson, though, I worry how effective Addison will be. He is talented, but his big plays were always those deep balls, and I don't think he's going to have that anymore because Justin Jefferson isn't there. You know, so I think Hawkinson gets an upgrade. I think they're going to pepper him with more targets. I think KJ Osborne is going to be the target hog, and Addison, he's still going to get his, obviously. And if there's a flashy play, it'll probably be him. But I worry how effective he will be without Jefferson there.
Yeah. So Ron Kerr says Addison's an elite route runner. I will not deny his talent as a route runner.
I agree.
I will not, right? I will say this, though. If the number one wide receiver is gone, that means you are going to have to face a better defensive back. And not just a better defensive back in terms of coverage, but a better defensive back in terms of jamming you. And that's where Addison is weak. If you are on the field more and you are weak in terms of getting the opportunity to get into your route because you get jammed up and Kirk Cousins doesn't have a lot of time, Addison then becomes quite suspect and quite questionable, right? But KJ Osborne, on the other hand, he's wide open a lot. But why is he wide open?
Because he's getting third corner. Yeah.
So to go on Sieg's point, I would say we should temper our expectations with both of these guys, unless N'Keal Harry is this big, this big Justin Jefferson replacement.
I would start Taysom Hill over N'Keal Harry, and I would never start Taysom Hill.
So. But like that's the thing, and I love that we have these discussions because at the end of the day, if you don't have these, The real
problem is maybe Kirk Cousins is just a guy now.
Oh,
I'm saying he's just a guy now.
I think the entire scheme changes.
Without Justin Jefferson, he's just a guy. He's going to fade out.
Don P, this guy was getting his ass kicked left and right with the best wide receiver or the second best wide receiver.
Yeah, but he's putting up numbers.
Of course. So there's a serious dilemma here. There really is.
He's going to get sacked all day. He's going to get pressured. He's a mess. He's going to be a hot mess.
Again, I get why owners would put KJ Osborne in the flex for a PPR. I get why they are bullish on Jordan Addison. Again, I would just temper these expectations. I would be very happy if I'm a TJ Hawkinson owner, and I'm firing up Alexander Madison. Because what's the best way to not get sacked?
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well hand it off.
But this is the Bears defense.
That's the caveat here. That is the caveat.
Everybody should still eat this week, but overall, I'm saying
that is the caveat, right? So if these two dudes wind up having a smash game, one or two,
they could
sell them off. Sell immediately.
Yep.
I think this game right here, if you put strictly Chicago Bears players and Minnesota Vikings players in your DFS lineup this week, you are going to be in the money. It's going to
could be right. I think it could be right.
What was the over-under on this game?
44.5.
We should pull you. Well, we'll talk about this after
we
the
should.
show.
Me and Steve had this guy that from week one on about Justin Fields, and his team was done. It was trash, and we told him to keep the wrong guy. Remember that, Zeke?
He's Ryan.
Was it Ryan? Oh my God!
Well, no, it's not Ryan. It's not the Ryan from your area, but
no.
That dude, he's from Denver. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh my God, Rhino.
You look, if you could go to my profile, anybody that's here right now, go to my profile, search fields. You're gonna see how much Don P and I
every day. He told us we don't know what we're talking about.
We're bullish on Justin Fields from day one.
He's going to trade him for a piece of crap, and I'm like,
I have one piece of this quarterback. I have not sold Justin Fields. I believe in Justin Fields.
Me too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
in May, I went on a opposing stream saying, I got a lot of heat for it, saying Justin Fields and DJ Moore is going to be the number one value stack in best ball. I got a lot of slack for it. They were fucking
laughing at you, everything basically.
Yeah,
right?
They were giving me a hard time, and now they're like, anybody can make a call, right? That's what they sound like. I don't know if they're fucking inhaling or exhaling. Anyways, fucking losers. Moving on. We're going to the next game: New England Patriots versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Fuck. You got Juju Smith-Schuster out, Demario Douglas out. Patriots Nation, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it no more.
They're as bad as the Steelers Nation right now.
Yeah, fuck. I was Steelers Nation last week. Shout out to that defense and special teams unit.
Mac Jones may not play a full game.
He hasn't in the last 2 weeks.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
We'll see. But +3, Las Vegas Raiders. They're in Vegas. Over under is 41.5. Who's winning this game? This fucking barn burner of mediocrity, below mediocrity. Who's winning this game, fellas? Talk to me, somebody.
Raiders are winning. Yeah.
Fancy Football Addict said N'Keal Harry will get hurt in his sleep.
Exactly.
Is this
almost as bad as OBJ right now?
Yeah.
It can't get any worse for Ramondre.
This could be his game, though.
Can we get let me preface that. Can't get any worse for him. It can't get any lower. All right. Can Ramondre finally break a few tackles, get the offense moving, and then perhaps Hunter Henry or you're gonna have to help me out here, Disco, with another wide receiver.
Patriots put
Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick, that's the dude I'm thinking of. Kendrick Bourne.
Parker.
But the offense needs to move.
Mr. Booty.
The offense needs to move through Ramondre. Flat out. That's the end of it. If AJ Dillon got it done against the Raiders last week, Ramondre Stevenson, with his skill set, should be able to get off the ground.
What about Zeke?
Time out. Pickles. Jonesy, you want to read that for us?
Let's wave to his girlfriend.
Hello, my love. Amaya and I are watching you guys. So remember that. I love you, baby. We're your number one fan. I love you too. Give Amaya a kiss for me.
What about the rest of us?
I love you, JC.
It's all Jonesy show.
What about the rest of us?
It's a Jonesy show.
Tell wifey to say hello to all of us. I mean,
No. I have a wife. I'm happily married. I'm okay. I look
just
forward.
Friends of the show.
I look forward to these shows.
Friends of the show.
Because my guy Jonesy gets to smile, and I love seeing my guy Jonesy. I'm sorry for interrupting you, JC.
Blushing is more like it.
I know. I love it. Carry on, JC.
Oh, I love it too. No, all right. Well, I mean, there's not much else to say. Fucking again, Ramondre Stevenson should run on the Raiders. Does that make New England winning this game? I don't think so. But Jimmy Garoppolo is not a good quarterback, even with Devontae Adams, unfortunately.
Ron calls the Patriots. Ooh, I love
what Ron is saying right now, pure fire. He says McDaniels will be kissing Bill's rings.
Yeah,
Ron's a big Raider fan, too.
The Raiders
play calling, can't score more than 17 points. Patriots win and put one more nail in McDaniels' damn coffin. Ooh,
but
that's how you really feel.
But they do have Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers is playing well as a wide receiver too on that team. He's playing well, and they have Josh Jacobs and they have Max Crosby. So they have right now they have better skill positional players than the Patriots do, which is crazy. It's very crazy. I don't think the Patriots win the ball game, but
yeah.
Ramondre,
the thing is if AJ Dillon can do 76 yards and a touchdown, Ramondre Stevenson should be able to do 125 and a touchdown.
Yes.
So this is going to be his game. I just have a feeling. I don't know.
So here's mine, right? Here's mine. And I will say this. It should be a Ramondre Stevenson game, but these Patriots up front, this offensive line, and take it from a guy who played offensive line at a very high level. This offensive line is fucking atrocious. I could personally go in and play better than these guys right now. I'm kidding. I'm not.
No. I mean, no. I get it.
These guys are fucking awful, and they can't block for the run. They can't block for the pass. They can't even block on special teams. They couldn't. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Here's the thing, though. Too is this year looking at snap counts and everything is down the middle with him and Zeke. It's like they're the same player, just split in two. If you look at last year, Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, 62%, but he had 90%, 86%, 77%, multiple weeks where he was 70% or higher.
And I was having this conversation.
Why waste time with Zeke? It's just.
And I was having this conversation earlier.
But he's keeping him relevant, though.
I was having this conversation earlier. He has been questionable in prior to every single game this year, and he's played. So, what is this lingering injury or sickness or illness?
Going on. You're right.
Like, what's going on? Right? There's more that meets the eye because on paper, yes, he should be getting more snaps than Zeke. But why would they bring a Zeke in if they had a Pierre Strong and they were comfortable with Pierre Strong? Pierre Strong is a good football player. Why would they bring a Zeke in and then give Zeke so much volume, especially at the very end of the camp? Right,
I think
there's more than meets the eye in this situation.
I think Belichick's just on his last leg, and he's just making bad decision after bad decision.
I beg to differ. Ramondre Stevenson once again has been questionable in every single game.
So do you keep Zeke right now on a bench, or do I cut up JSN?
I want nothing to do with this offense, especially even my guy Demario Douglas. I don't want anything to do with it.
You could cut Zeke.
I know.
You can cut Zeke. Stevenson's the only one that's viable, and Henry,
if anything,
you know, have him at tight end. But
all right, we got Jacoby. Fantasy Football Addict says Jacoby Myers over 54.5 receiving revenge game. Over. Yeah, I like it. Myers is worth $20 million a year right now on the Patriots. He's worth more than that. He's worth way more than that. But we signed Juju Smith-Poopster
for the same amount of money.
Fuck more. We paid him.
I got an awesome prop. Ready? Does the cameras go to Bill Belichick pre-game yakking it up with Devontae Adams or yakking it up with his old coach Josh McDaniels?
It's got to be Josh McDaniels.
No, he loves Devontae Adams. I bet you they show us that.
Yeah, but he's
just some fun.
It is anyway. Fun. Good one.
All right. So Josh Jacobs, do we like him for an anytime touchdown?
Yeah.
How much do we like him for an anytime touchdown?
Good bit.
65%.
Yeah. So enough to place that bet and like that bet personally.
I'd say
I'm not betting the house on it, but I mean,
well, yeah, you should never bet the house on anything. Yeah,
I would feel comfortable.
Unfortunately, you can do anything on the Patriots right now.
There's only 3 dudes that could score for the Raiders.
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs is one of them. So that's a 33% chance basically that Josh Jacobs scores.
Yep.
He won't. Says nonsense. Nonsense. I love you. I think you're one of the most brilliant fantasy football minds, but you are delusional when you talk about our Patriots. This is when you're a homer, and rule number 1 on the 10 draft commandments is don't be a homer. You're being a homer right now. Be realistic. Take yourself outside of this toxic box of being a fucking Patriots fan after Tom left.
We suck.
Moving on. Let's go to the next game. Sorry.
Yeah,
what was
go to the next game.
What was the question? I'm just fucking suffering here. I'm crying.
That is my Steelers since Ben left.
Who is the quarterback that they elevated or brought in that could possibly?
Cunningham.
Yeah, that's right.
But Murray Cunningham is not it. It's not it.
I'm not saying that's it.
The problem is our offensive line. The only way Malik Cunningham should do okay is he's better at running for his life than Mac Jones.
Yes, that's the only reason.
That's it. But like he's going to do okay in terms of like getting a 1-yard gain or not throwing a pick because he chooses to tuck the ball and run around and then fumble it, right? So this offensive line is the worst offensive line in football.
Now,
period.
Kirk Cousins to the Patriots would be nice.
All right, but I mean,
It's not the quarterback. It's not.
It's the line.
It's the line. It's the line. And fuck Mac Jones. Anyway, moving on. I'm dying.
Yeah, I got to get going anyway, guys. I got to get up at 1. So
as always, Don P, we love you, buddy.
All right, guys.
Don
Great
P.
stuff.
Have a good weekend. See you tomorrow.
Make sure you're following this guy right here.
Make sure you're following all
Patrick Pucci. Patrick Pucci.
Don P.
Don P. See you, buddy.
It's Don P. See you later.
Later.
All right, fellas.
When I say see you later, it's because I do see him later. I see him when he gets up.
Detroit Lions -3. Tampa Bay Buccaneers over under 44.0. Tell me, guys, why is it only -0.3? Why do I feel like this is the trap game of the week?
I think that line is appropriate. You know, the Lions are the better team, but they're on the road. So they're actually giving the home team points, the home dog getting points. I think it's going to be a close game. I like the Lions. The Lions' rush defense is filthy. So, you count Rachaad White out of it. I guess we're waiting on Mike Evans, or is he ruled out?
He's good.
He's good. So then, all right. Well, so Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's in play. I don't like White at all based on the rush defense. Love Monty. How do we not love Monty? Monty's a go.
And Gibbs is out again, so
Jameer Gibbs is out, but again, they're rolling without Jameer
Monty
Gibbs.
is.
They're rolling. They're firing on their cylinders without Jameer Gibbs.
I think the only other person who loved Montgomery as much as I did coming into the season was Usyk.
Has to be.
I think you also loved him more than I did, and I really freaking loved him. I love Montgomery.
We drafted him as an RB3. I drafted him as an RB3. He's playing as an RB1. Doesn't get any better than that. Thank you very much.
I was getting him in the 7th round up until August.
Thank you very much. My Scott Fish Bowl team and a dynasty team.
Yeah. Ron Kerr says, will this be the game? Godwin has a good game. Godwin had a good game in his last game before the bye week.
I feel like we're waiting on him, right? And it's like we're waiting on that positive touchdown regression out of Godwin.
That Detroit, those backs, defensive backs, that they're hurting, I think Branch is still out, I think. Honestly, Baker's been playing well with Godwin and Evans, so
coming out of the bye.
Yeah.
It's going to be
in Tampa. It's tough to play in Tampa. It's not an easy place to play for people, So I honestly like Tampa in this game, and I think Evans and Godwin, I think, are gonna have a nice little day. Yeah.
All right. Our man Fantasy Football Addict says Josh Reynolds over 31.5 receiving yards. I like it. So here's what I'll say about Godwin, right? Everybody's holding on to the old Chris Godwin, the Godwin of Tom Brady, the Godwin of Jameis Winston, the Godwin under Byron Leftwich and his tutelage and offensive scheme. Byron Leftwich is no longer there, fellas. He's gone. They brought in the old offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. There's way less volume pass screen games where Godwin was elite. Godwin was never a touchdown guy. He was never a big touchdown guy. He was a volume guy. He would get you 14, 15, 16, 17 targets sometimes in a game, right? And he's very reliable. With his game has changed. His game has changed tremendously because the scheme has changed. So we need to stop looking at Godwin in terms of is this going to be the time Godwin has a big game? The only way Godwin will have a big game is if Byron Leftwich comes back, Tom Brady comes back, and they run the old offense, because that's the old offensive scheme. The offensive scheme now is very simple, right? It tailors more towards Mike Evans and what Mike Evans does, which is the big chunk play. and it tailors more towards the dink and dunks and the intermediary routes.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's not necessarily he's not going to be a volume play. Tom Brady's not throwing for 35 times, and if Baker ever throws for fucking 40 times, you should it's bad. It's bad.
So it begs the question: what do you do now? What do you do with Godwin if you're a Godwin owner? And
you wait till he has the touchdown game.
And you were banking on that type of volume that he was getting in the Byron Leftwich offense.
Yeah, you wait till he has a touchdown game, because like if he's in your lineup, he's one of those Judy situations. I wouldn't say he's as volatile as Judy or Hopkins. I would not say he's as volatile because his floor is much safer. He's more reliable than both of those guys. But I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not. I'm saying he's a good flex play.
Yeah,
he's a good flex play. He's a good fringe wide receiver free situation, right? Like if you have him as your flex, you're doing pretty decently.
You know, I haven't watched enough Tampa. That's the game. I'm definitely watching the Tampa Lions game this week because I you bring up an excellent point. This offense is not really the same as it was. Everyone was drafted Rachaad White in the same manner. Oh, we're gonna get Rachaad White. He's a 3-down back. He's gonna get those dink and dunks. That's not really happening. It's
a completely different scheme.
He's still in play though. It's like I'm starting Rachaad White, but you're not getting what his draft capital comes with or came with. Look at our guy Hussein.
Yeah, we got a Hussein conundrum. Should I start Rachaad White or KJ Osborne? I'm starting Rachaad White, and I think he has a terrible matchup. I think he has an awful matchup. It's a tough matchup.
It's a bad matchup for Rachaad White, and I'm not sure if Hussein heard our takes in terms of as far as KJ Osborne and the Minnesota Vikings. If you're going to start KJ Osborne in that flex or wide receiver 2 spot, you got to temper your expectations. He may be the guy that gets the touchdown. He may be the guy that gets the volume, but we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there. So I think Rachaad White would probably be the safer play for me.
Yeah. You know what? I'm seeing right now in our chat, a lot of people like crying about Jahmyr Gibbs. I wish you guys listened to Jay Sieg and I and Jonesy. I wish you guys listened to us in the preseason, but it's okay. Next year's coming, and we'll be drafting from April on, and we'll do our draft analysis and breakdown and put in our hard work.
Dude, February, March.
Yeah, I know.
You take a couple of weeks off after the Super Bowl, maybe a couple of weeks.
Dude, the pre-draft best ball tournaments are awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to get
involved. You're getting stuff wrong. You're going to, because you don't know where any rookies are going. You don't know where free agents are landing.
Well, that's it. Same thing as Dynasty.
So much fun. I mean, I was getting like Joe Mixon, even though he hasn't done anything. I was getting him at it was like so far down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's like a Dynasty startup that I had that we were actually doing in the middle of the freaking Super Bowl. You drafted the kicker as the placeholder for your rookie draft in May. So like if you were the first one to take Harrison Butker in like the late first round, you were getting the 1.01 in the rookie draft. Yeah, no, I get it. You know what?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do we like Amon-Ra St. Brown this game? Let's we got 18 minutes to wrap up before our man Manny goes live. So let's get back on track. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds. How do we feel about them this week?
Amon-Ra is a start. Amon-Ra is going to eat.
Or
Amon-Ra is going to produce, I should say. I don't know about
it is a very questionable secondary. What about Josh Reynolds?
Sneaky flex.
Yeah. So in a world where because like looking at this spread, right? It is a lot closer than anybody's anticipating, right? In a world where Tampa Bay can keep it within 3 because that's what Vegas has the odds at, what does Tampa Bay have to do, and how are they going to do it? Jonesy, go. How are they going to keep this a game? How are they going to make this a game? Is it going to be the run game? Is it going to be the pass game? Is it going to be a Cade Otton play?
No, it's like I said before. It's going to be thrown to Evans and Godwin. They're gonna. I think they're gonna light up this Lions secondary. I think personally. So
are you going as far to say they are like, if you had both of them, you got to start both of them? They're a must start.
I'm starting Godwin and Evans every single week. I mean, okay. There's no reason not to.
What about in DFS?
DFS,
$6,400 for Mike Evans, $6,100 for Chris Godwin.
I mean, I would probably go Mike Evans just because of the touchdown factor.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Jonesy. JC, how does this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team stay close in this game?
How do they stay close? By Tampa Bay's front seven freaking just applying the pressure to Goff and getting them off the field. Just keep Tampa on the field with the ball. That's the way they're going to have to win the game.
So would you go as far as saying that you'd play Tampa Bay's defense and special teams? Because surely they're available.
No, there's probably a better play than that. But I mean, if you're asking me how are they going to win, I would say it would be Todd Bowles on the defensive side, stopping the Lions and what they want to do.
Okay. Do we love Sam Laporta in this game, fellas?
I've come around.
Sammy ball game.
Is Kate Otten good? Do we like Kate Otten this game?
Sneaky.
Not really.
What about Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
Would you play Baker Mayfield?
Would I play him? I mean,
one QB, no.
Yeah, one QB, probably not. Unless I was in a 14 team, maybe.
Gotcha. All right, moving on, folks. Arizona Cardinals, who are 7-point dogs coming into the Los Angeles Rams. We got our Amore Di Mercado game.
Amore flex. It's the flex play.
Yeah, LA against the LA Rams. The over/under is 48.5.
The Rams.
Why am I loving the under here?
Probably because the Arizona Cardinals won't score their portion of that, right? Like 48. So you got so technically you're dividing that by 2. I don't think Arizona gets to 24 points in this game against the Rams, even though the Rams can be moved on, right? Like is that their passing game? The passing game can allow
chat addict nonsense. Chat Hussein nonsense addict Ron Scott whoever's in here in the chat. Do we like the under in this game 48.5? Talk to me, chat. What about you, Jonesy? How do you feel?
Yeah, kind of like Zeke was just saying. I don't see how Arizona, without James Conner, I don't see how this offense moves against the Rams. I just don't. I
Amare.
I'm staying away from that backfield. I think it's. The only one I'm probably invested in this game would be Hollywood Brown, and maybe a Michael Wilson or something in DFS, but that's about it. And
gotcha.
Zach Ertz.
Shout out to my guy James SEO. I see your comments and your messages on our Twitter feed, brother. I love you. I wish you'd come over to YouTube. He's just commenting because like I'm not even streaming it there. So shout out to him. I think he's watching it and commenting there. But yeah, shout out to you, James. You're a freaking legend. I love talking to you, my fellow Canadian friend. Here's the thing.
Canadians are so polite.
I think Kyron Williams is going to be absolutely spectacular. I think Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to be absolutely spectacular. I think they're going to be so spectacular that the Rams get up and they get up big, and we're going to see Joshua Dobbs get exposed as a passing quarterback because they're playing so far from behind, and that's why I like the under. That's why I like the under. If there was anybody on the Arizona Cardinals side that you would or should start, is there anybody on the Arizona Cardinals side where you're like, I kind of like them this week?
For Arizona, if you're now thin at running back and you've been relying on James Conner and you have a depleted depth at the position, you're starting DeMarcado and crossing your fingers. I'm not in that situation, but I bet there are a lot of owners that are going to start this dude in hopes that he's going to get a lot of carries. He's going to be able to move the offense in the same manner that James Conner was doing, which again is really not. It has been that spectacular, right? The Cardinals aren't that great of a team. Josh Dobbs is not that great of a quarterback. They are a nice surprise, but Safest play, safest guy. I'm with Jones. It would be Hollywood Brown. The Rams. I like Ron's play with Kyron Williams. This is a Kyron Williams get right game. If the Rams are up, wouldn't they just want to again control the clock and try to move the ball through Kyron at that point? I like that.
I think both Kyron and Ronnie Rivers are both going to have a good game.
I think I like that play as well.
Yeah.
Cooper, let's touch up on Cooper Kupp for just a second.
Sure.
Do you see an increase in his usage?
I don't think they have to. I think based off of game script, they're going to blow them out. I think this is going to be like they have played well every single game, but here is where they'll get exposed. Here's absolutely where they get exposed. And like I said the same thing about San Francisco, and it didn't happen. But here's where they get exposed because Cooper Kupp, Puka, and Kyron, along with the King Matt Stafford, they're going to expose this team for what they are because Sean McVay is going to out-scheme them. Up until this point, the Arizona Cardinals have kept up based off of scheme and game plan. Sean McVay is a fucking mad scientist.
He's not losing to this. They're not losing to this team
for sure. And I will say, I finally watched the Rams against Philadelphia, and from what I've saw in how they competed against Philadelphia, they're going to smack them around. I like the under, but I still think the Rams could put up 30 plus.
Yeah, and the whole thing is Cooper Kupp last week. I mean, he came out and he played 95% of the snaps and led the team in targets with 12. I mean, Puka had 11, so it was a very close split. But they didn't hold back last week, and I don't think they're going to hold back this week either.
But that was based on game script, right? They were behind.
Which
but I think they're going to. If the Rams are going to win and get up on this team, it's going to be through the passing game. I think they're going to do it fast and do it quick with Puka and Kupp as a duo. It's a very exciting electric duo to have, and I think they're going to use.
We're gonna see it, right? We're going to see this Rams magic. The Rams magic is coming out.
I mean, I think
we saw a little bit of it, a little taste of what this Rams team can really be last week. I think we're going to see the same type of game script with this team. Again, the Rams are a better team. They should beat this team. So I don't think it's going to be like, okay, let's throw all of it out there and let's show the league how powerful we can be. I don't think it's going to be like that type of game. I don't.
And I will say I agree with Ron 100%. Ron and I are on the same thought process right now.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz. It's my tight end number 11 this week. I have him projected for 9.4 fantasy points. The LA Rams are the 27th worst team in terms of allowing points to the tight end position. Sure, those numbers can be skewed based off of what Dallas Goedert did last week alone, but they have been giving up a significant chunk of change. So I would say if I'm playing anybody this week, like I like Demercado, I don't like him in this matchup. I have him projected for under 10 points, but I think Zach Ertz is at the tight end position where 9 points is significant.
Oh yeah, he's top 10 this week.
Well,
I think he's my only must play in that game.
What do we always say, right? So an inexperienced quarterback is always going to rely on their tight end. And, of course, they're checked down to the running back to get out of trouble. Josh Downs has been doing a pretty decent job of that. He's shown glimpses, obviously.
Do we think he's inexperienced? Because this guy's, old as fuck.
Well, I mean, this is his 6th game starting, right? I mean, he just got a jersey out of
but the whole thing is Connor, Ertz, Marquise Brown. That's really the only weapons on this team. So he's going to force it to those three no matter what, I mean.
This is a team that's like learning on the fly, right? Like, again, this is the Rams are the Rams have better personnel, period. How about we get our guy Tyler Higbee in the end zone for the love of God?
Hold on. News. Pickles. Fantasy Football Addict says, news. Sean McVay not be at the game.
What does he say?
What does that mean? Is this actually breaking news?
He's having a kid.
Yeah, his wife is due. Okay.
What's the prop? What's the line that Sean McVay will be the head coach of this game?
I don't think there's a fucking prop.
With his wife in labor.
Do you guys know? Does McVay call his own plays?
Yes.
Yeah,
he calls offense. All right, we got just under 5 minutes.
Well, okay, hold on a second. Let's say that like this might be legitimate. All right, let's say McVay's not on the sideline. How does this change the game, if any?
It does.
It changes that. Now that changes the game.
It changes the game significantly. This is why we have Fantasy Football Addict on our team. This is why he's our bet guru, because he knows this shit. So Fantasy Football Addict on a regular basis, proving his worth is like such a bad word. He is proving how valuable he is as a follow on Twitter. You better fucking follow him, guys.
If the wife is in labor, all right. I mean, like, nowadays. I mean, again, I think he's gonna head coach this game. That's my gut instincts in this situation. This actual outside of football situation.
Are there any rules against an offensive coordinator or a head coach calling plays from a hospital?
No, that you cannot do that. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you can't do that.
All right, Philadelphia Eagles last game of the Sunday slate before we go to our friend.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Ron brings up. It's LaFleur is actually under McVay's on his staff. So I'm not sure how much that changes the game or not.
It's a different LaFleur. It's not the
LaFleur. I get it. I understand.
It's
LaFleur.
It's LaFleur.
It's like it's not Peyton Manning. It's fucking Eli. You know what I mean? Anyways, moving on. Philadelphia Eagles -7. I hate Eli because he stole Super Bowls from us. He's probably a swell guy. Fuck that guy. Philadelphia Eagles -7.0 points versus the New York Jets. Over under is 41.0. Surely we like Devontae Smith. Surely we like DeAndre Swift. Surely we like AJ Brown. Surely we like Jalen Hurts. Surely we like Dallas Goedert, who has the best matchup in general. Surely we like Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Sorry if I'm stealing your thunder. Is there anybody we like, because we're so limited in time? Is there anybody we like from the New York Jets side?
Garrett Wilson.
There's only two guys that you could play there.
Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall.
There's two guys that you can play there. I had a nice Twitter exchange with one of our family members, TD Goat, last night. You still have to start Devontae Smith. You still have to start.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's gotten to the point where, the production has declined pretty bad, but at the same time, we've seen this before. It could be Devontae Smith at any given time. He's too freaking talented to just sit. And you sit Devontae Smith, that'll be the week that you're going to get 29 freaking fantasy points.
You're never sitting.
You can't sit Devontae Smith.
I think he's in the same category as T. Higgins, right? Same kind of player. Same kind of player. You sit him, you're doomed. Maybe he's a little bit better of a player. Yeah, but it's the same tier. It's the same category, same concept. You can't sit him.
It is the same tier. We could have this discussion at another time, or for a different stream and for a tier stream. But no. Devontae Smith has to start.
Yeah, for sure. Same with T. Higgins. Tyler Conklin is my guy. That's not Garrett Wilson or Brees Hall. That should probably could make your lineup this week. I think Tyler Conklin's got a good matchup. He showed up last week. He did really well. So Tyler Conklin is playable. I wouldn't say go Gerald Everett or Jake Ferguson or several other people ahead of him, but Tyler Conklin is probably the only other playable person. Go ahead, Zeke.
2 QB league, Superflex. Are you starting Sam Howell or are you starting Garrett Wilson?
Zach Wilson.
QB league. Zach Wilson?
No, you said Garrett Wilson.
No, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, fuck me.
Sam Howell, Zach Wilson. 2 QB league. Just throwing it out there for the audience. Because we spoke about Sam earlier. Now we're on Zach. I think you're starting Zach. As shitty as that sounds.
Zach Wilson went against a fucking atrocious defense last week, and he did poorly, right? Whereas, Sam Howell doesn't, he put up 394 yards last week in a loss. but he still put up a significant amount of yards. So if we're talking about a ceiling play based off of what we've seen against opportunity and matchups, I'm riding with Sam Howell.
I think if you're looking for a ceiling play, I think you're playing Wilson.
I can see that.
If you're looking at Commanders versus Atlanta,
Wilson has no
that
ceiling.
game's going to
glass case of emotion.
But here's the thing, Disco. Commanders Atlanta, they're very even with what they are as teams. If you look at the Jets and Eagles, the Eagles are way up here and the Jets are way down here. I'm sorry. So the Jets should be playing from down by 17 points the entire game. So Wilson's just going to have to chuck. So if you want a ceiling play,
you can wind up getting that 300 yards.
Wilson.
Zach Wilson can wind up getting that 300 yards.
And the Eagles are not that great against the pass.
2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and 300 yards.
So how did Aaron Rodgers die again this year? Correct me.
He went to the Jets.
No, yeah, that's where careers go.
Because he's 40 years old and he tore his Achilles.
But why did he tear his Achilles? What happened on the play he tore his Achilles? He got sacked.
His old line.
He got sacked.
Yeah,
he got sacked. That's why I'm not going with Zach Wilson. That's the only reason why I'm not going with Zach Wilson.
They're down two.
Without pressure in a close game where he's supposed to air it out and keep the game, in check. He sucked. So how is he going to do against quite possibly the best defensive pass rush in football? So you guys are saying Zach Wilson will outscore Sam Howell. Seek, which side are you on?
To outscore, I'm gonna go Jonesy theory, and I suppose mine as well. If Sam Howell could throw 300 yards, I think Zach Wilson in this game could definitely do the same, and outscore Sam Howell by a point or two.
Yeah, I'm going Sam Howell, and I think he outscores him by at least 7. So Breece Hall is not a good start. I would say he has a very terrible matchup. I wouldn't say he's in the position for you not to start him, but if he's going to have a bad game, it's going to be this one. Okay, so before we go, we'll talk about the 2 games left. We'll just keep it quick, rapid fire, so we can get to Manny's.
Space is live, but let's wrap it up.
So New York
Bills,
Giants.
We covered this earlier. Bills.
Okay. Dallas Cowboys. LA Chargers.
This game is in LA, right?
Yes. Over under is 51.0.
The Cowboys just got so. I'm going with the Chargers. Give me the Chargers.
I'll go with Chargers too. Yeah, and you're firing up everyone. I mean, there's no one you're sitting.
Quentin off the bye again, just like JSN. Quentin off the bye. I think that he's gonna get worked in. We're not gonna see the Palmer production or the Palmer targets, and Austin Eckler's back. Austin Eckler changes the dynamic of this team.
Yeah, Fantasy Football Addict is with you guys. I'm not. I'm going with the boys.
After that embarrassment, you're going to take the Cowboys to rebound.
I'm not taking the rebound. I'm looking straight up at the game script, how it's going to play out. This is a fucking terrible secondary for the Chargers. This is a terrible fucking run defense for the Chargers. This is a pretty decent defense that's played pretty well against every team except for San Fran. And whoever San Fran's gone against, they fucking bulldozed, right? So that's why I'm going with Dallas, because the defense on the other side is absolutely atrocious, and who knows how to pick apart that old offensive coordinator better, or that old defensive coordinator and head coach in LA better than their old offensive coordinator. Right? This is not the Dak get right game. This is not the Cowboys get right game. This is not the Mike McCarthy. This is the Kellen Moore game.
Kellen Moore game. That's right.
Yeah.
On the Chargers.
Yeah, I know. I'm going with boys.
I know you are. To me, this is easy, clear cut.
Yeah, I'm going with boys. I got Cowboys. You guys got Chargers. Cowboys, Chargers.
But okay, all right.
I want the Chargers to win because I feel like Kellen Moore can beat the shit out of.
Who scored? Who that total is what 50, right? Who's scoring for the Chargers? Who's scoring? Keenan.
I would say Keenan, Gerald Everett, and Austin Eckler.
That's only 21. The other those are field goals. Let's get Quentin in there.
I don't think Quentin's going to score. I don't think he's going to get in the end zone. I don't like Quentin Johnson. I think he's going to have a decent game, but under 10.
Fair enough.
I think Joshua Palmer maybe around 12-14 as well. Anyways, folks, we'll be back tomorrow night on the Twitter space, hosted by the hostess with the mostest nicknames on the planet, Mr. LeVar J. We'll see you guys also tonight. It's already going on Manny's live Twitter space. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.
We out? Jonesy, feel better, man.
Yeah. You too. Or not you too. I can't even.
No.